There was a chill in the air that morning as the school bell rang and students began pouring through the iron gates of Hill Ridge Academy, one of the most elite private schools in the state. Fancy cars lined the sidewalk, expensive shoes clicked on the marble floors, and laughter filled the hallways. Everyone had their circle, their crew, their place sexed for one girl. Her name was Lena Ossen. She wasn't dressed in branded clothes, nor did she carry the latest phone. Her skirt was plain, her bag was stitched and worn, and her shoes looked like they had seen one too many rainy days. She walked in with her head low, gripping the strap of her backpack like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. No one noticed her at first until they did. Asterisk, it started small, whispering behind her back. Giggles in the hallway. A bump of the shoulder here, a cruel joke there. Lena kept walking, her eyes focused forward. She didn't talk much, and when she did, her voice was soft, too soft for a place that rewarded loudness and confidence. Her family had recently moved to the city after her father passed away. Her mother worked 2 jobs just to keep Lena in school. She had no time for makeup, fashion, or social games. All she cared about was getting good grades and staying out of trouble. But trouble doesn't wait for permission, it finds its target. Asterisk on Lena's second week, her world began to unravel. Melissa Harding, the queen bee of the school, with her blonde hair, designer outfits, and an army of followers, spotted her in the cafeteria. "Who's the charity case?" she had whispered to Amber and Sasha, her loyal sidekicks. They laughed. The girls strutted over to Lena's table like lions approaching a wounded gazelle. "You dropped something," Melissa said with a fake smile, tipping Lena's lunch tray onto the floor. "Oops." Lena stared in disbelief as her only meal that day turned into a mess of rice and vegetables on the shiny white tiles. Everyone laughed. Lena bent down to pick it up, her fingers trembling. But before she could, Sasha kicked the tray across the floor. "You're good at cleaning, huh?" she sneered. Asterisk. Lena said nothing. She simply wiped her tears, stood up, and left the cafeteria. But that moment had sparked a cruel game. Over the next few days, Melissa and her crew made Lena their project. Books knocked out of her hands, notes taped to her back. Rumors spread. No one stood up for her, not even the teachers, who pretended not to see. But things got even worse. The day they followed her into the girls' bathroom, asterisk, it was after school, the hallways were nearly empty. Lena had stayed behind to ask a teacher about extra credit. She stepped into the bathroom to wash her face. The door slammed shut behind her. She turned and saw them, Melissa, Amber, and Sasha blocking the exit. Asterisk. Well, 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 Melissa said, holding up her phone. "This place is a mess. Why don't you do what you're best at, janitor girl?" Amber laughed. "Yeah, mop the floor, or we'll tell everyone you stole Melissa's lip gloss." Sasha grabbed a wet rag from the cleaning closet and threw it at Lena. It hit her face. She flinched. Asterisk. "I didn't steal anything." Lena's voice was barely a whisper. Asterisk. "Then prove it. Clean this bathroom until we say stop. On your knees." Melissa's eyes were cold. Cruel. Lena stood frozen for a second. She wanted to scream, to run, to fight, but she didn't. She slowly bent down, picked up the rag, and began scrubbing the tile. Asterisk, they recorded it, laughed, mocked her, tossed tissues and wrappers around just to watch her crawl and clean. "I'll smile." For the camera, Amber jeered. "This is gonna go viral. Bathroom Barbie in action." Minutes turned into half an hour. Lena didn't say a word, but inside her heart something stirred. A fire. A memory. Asterisk. She remembered her grandfather's voice, soft, strong, full of wisdom. He was a karate master back in her village, and when she was younger, he had taught her everything. "Strength, Lena," he used to say, "is not in the punch, but in the patience. You must never strike out of anger. But when the time is right, when the moment chooses you, you must strike with honor." Asterisk, she had left karate behind after his passing, buried that part of her soul. But now, on her knees, wiping dirty tiles under the glare of humiliation, that old fire flickered. Asterisk, after the girls left. laughing and clapping each other on the back. Lena sat alone in the bathroom, her hands wet, her pride shattered. She didn't cry. She stared into the mirror and whispered, "I am not weak. I am not broken." She picked up her backpack, walked out of the school, and said nothing to anyone. But someone had seen. A teacher, quiet, stern, and observant Mr. Kadim, the school's martial arts instructor. He had passed by the bathroom earlier and sensed something wrong. He didn't stop it, not yet. But he watched Lena walk out with dignity, still intact, and saw something in her eyes, something powerful, something patient. Asterisk, the next morning, a flyer was posted on the school board. Karate tryouts open to all students.
Asterisk.
Melissa scoffed at it. Like anyone important is going to waste time doing karate. Asterisk, but deep inside, something had already shifted. The girl they humiliated wasn't going to stay silent forever. And Hillridge Academy had no idea what storm was coming. Asterisk, days passed. The leaves began to turn, and the air grew cooler. But the fire inside Lena Ozen only burned brighter. At Hillridge Academy, the laughter, whispers, and cruelty hadn't stopped. If anything, the bullies seemed even bolder after. What happened in the bathroom? Word had spread not through an official video, but through rumor, speculation, and cruel exaggeration. Lena was the girl who cleaned the bathroom to avoid getting expelled. She was bathroom Barbie, janitor Jane, the rag queen. And everywhere she walked, someone snickered. Asterisk, but what no one knew, what no one even imagined, was that Lena had made a quiet decision, one that would change everything. Asterisk, she stayed after school one day, waiting outside the gymnasium where the karate club practiced. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the weight of returning to a world she had left behind. Her grandfather's dojo had been humble, its mats frayed and windows dusty, but it was her sanctuary once. Now, as the gym door opened with a creak, the memories flooded back. Asterisk, inside. The sounds of feet striking mats, of students yelling "Koi," echoed through the air. Mr. Kadim stood at the far end of the gym, arms crossed, sharp eyes scanning the room. He saw her immediately. "You came?" he said without expression. Lena nodded. Asterisk, "You're late." Asterisk, "I wasn't sure if I should." Asterisk, he stared for a moment, then pointed to the wall. "Leave your shoes. Stand on the mat." She obeyed. What followed was not a warm welcome or gentle encouragement. It was discipline, intensity, pain, repetition. Mr. Kadim did not coddle her. He trained her. Every punch had to be sharper, every block cleaner, every stance firmer. The other students, many of them beginners who had joined for fun or extracurricular credit, were shocked by how seriously she was pushed. But Mr. Kadim knew something they didn't. Need kindness. Well, she needed to remember who she was. Asterisk, each day after class, Lena stayed longer. She practiced alone, her fists raw, her feet blistered. She didn't care. She was rebuilding herself, brick by brick, strike by strike. Her muscles ached, her bones cried out, but she kept going. Asterisk, back in school, Melissa and her gang continued their mockery. They noticed that Lena didn't react anymore. She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. That made them nervous. One afternoon, Melissa cornered her by the lockers. Asterisk, "Still pretending you're invisible?" she sneered. "Or are you just broken?" Lena looked at her with the calm of someone who had already won a battle no one else could see. "Not pretending," she said softly. "I just don't need to prove anything to people who aren't worth it." For the first time, Melissa was speechless, but humiliation wasn't enough for bullies like her. That week, they hatched a cruel plan. The school was holding its annual Hillridge Talent and Challenge Week, a series of tournaments, sports matches, and showcases meant to build school spirit. The karate club was one of the featured events. Asterisk, Melissa pulled some strings. Her father was a board donor and had her name entered into the tournament. Privately, she had been taking self-defense classes from a personal trainer. She wanted to humiliate Lena in public. In front of the entire school, asterisk, when Lena's name appeared on the participant list, some students gasped. Rumors spread again. "She's actually competing? That charity case? This is going to be hilarious. Asterisk. But Mr. Kadim said nothing. He simply handed her a tournament GI white. Clean, crisp hand told her wear it with honor. Win. Or lose. Asterisk. The week of the tournament arrived. The gymnasium was transformed. A stage, lights, cameras, some matches were being live-streamed on the school's social media. Melissa showed up in a custom-fitted black GI, her name embroidered in gold. Her friends took selfies, posed like champions before even fighting. Asterisk. Lena sat in silence in the corner, her eyes closed. She wasn't thinking about revenge. She was thinking about discipline, about honor, about balance. She wasn't here to fight Melissa. She was here to fight the part of herself that ever believed she was powerless. Asterisk. The early rounds began. Lena's first opponent underestimated her. Everyone did. A boy who smirked as he bowed, but staggered, back in shock after her first clean counter-strike. She moved with grace, with control, never wasting a step. Mr. Kadim watched from the sidelines. His arms crossed, a hint of pride in his eyes. Asterisk. She won round 1. Then round 2. Then semifinals. Asterisk. By the end of the day, the gym was packed. The final match was announced. Melissa Harding versus Lena Ossen. Everyone went silent. Melissa strutted into the ring, showboating, smirking. Try not to mop the floor. With yourself, she whispered as they bowed. Lena didn't reply. The referee raised his hand. Begin. The gym fell into a deep hush, so quiet you could hear a pin drop on the polished floor. Every student, teacher, and parent in the bleachers held their breath. On one side of the ring stood Melissa Harding, confident, cocky, her golden stitched, GI gleaming under the lights. On the other stood Lena Ossen, quiet, focused, her eyes like still water hiding the depth of a storm. The referee dropped his hand. Begin. Asterisk. Melissa lunged forward, fast. Her trainer had taught her some flashy moves, high kicks, sweeping blocks, but her strikes lacked control. She was fast, but not precise. Lena, by contrast, barely moved. She simply watched, waited, measured. Asterisk. Melissa's first punch grazed the air as Lena stepped aside with calm. It's almost effortless movement. The audience murmured. They expected Lena to be crushed in seconds, but something was off. Melissa was sweating already, frustrated. She struck again, harder this time, with a spinning kick. Lena blocked it. Clean, perfect, and for the first time. She stepped forward not to attack, but to shift the rhythm. Asterisk. Her footwork was precise, her balance unshakable. She didn't waste energy. She didn't show off. She fought like she was taught, like a true martial artist. Melissa came again, wild now, angry. She screamed and threw a roundhouse kick that echoed through the gym. Asterisk. Lena ducked, pivoted, and swept Melissa's legs out from under her. Thud. Gasps filled the room. Asterisk. Melissa hit the mat hard, her eyes wide. She scrambled up, red-faced, and ran at Lena, screaming, "You'll regret that." Asterisk. But Lena didn't flinch. She sidestepped. Melissa crashed into the air, lost her footing, and suddenly, she was on her knees. Asterisk. Lena stood over her, calm, controlled. Her hands were open, not fists, not an attack. It's an offering. Asterisk. Get up, she said. We're not done. Asterisk. Melissa growled. You're dead, Osen. Asterisk. She launched again. This time, Lena met her halfway. One block, one strike. Froze in place, gasping for breath. Lena's strike hadn't landed hard, but it had landed in just the right spot to throw off her balance completely. The referee blew the whistle. Point match goes to Lena Osen. Asterisk. For a moment, the room was silent. Then cheers erupted. Asterisk. It started with the karate team, then some students, and finally even a few teachers stood and clapped. Melissa sat on the mat, stunned, humiliated. Asterisk. Lena bowed, then offered her hand to help Melissa up. Melissa slapped it away, but Lena didn't react. She bowed again, deeper this time, out of respect for the match, not the opponent. Away victorious, but not boastful. Asterisk, Mr. Kadim met her outside the ring. He nodded once. That was honor, he said. Asterisk, by the next morning, the video of the match had gone viral, shared across school groups, local news feeds, even martial arts forums. Headlines read, Asterisk, bullied girl shocks everyone with epic karate comeback. Asterisk, real life. Underdog wins with discipline and grace. It's asterisk. But Lena didn't care about the views. What mattered was how people treated her now. Asterisk classmates who had once laughed at her now nodded respectfully. Some even apologized. Teachers who had ignored the bullying now pulled her aside and said how proud they were. Asterisk. And then something unexpected happened. Asterisk Principal Harris called an assembly. The entire school gathered in the auditorium. A large screen played footage from the match. Then photos of Lena cleaning the bathroom weeks before. Screenshots from the bully's video. Now used to show her courage. Asterisk, we failed her. The principal said, voice heavy, we failed to protect a student. But she stood strong anyway. Today, we rename the East Wing Hall bathroom not as a place of humiliation, but a symbol of bravery. It will now be known as Lena's Courage Corner. Asterisk, thunderous applause. Asterisk Melissa, sitting in the back row, slouched in her chair, her face pale. Her father was furious not because she lost, but because her cruelty had gone public. She was suspended from extracurriculars and made to issue a written apology. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Asterisk Lena, meanwhile, began teaching after-school karate classes for younger kids. Some of the students who once mocked her now lined up. Bowing and eager to learn, in her new class, she would always start by saying, strength isn't how hard you hit, it's how long you stand tall when everyone tries to knock you down. Asterisk, and as the final bell rang one Friday afternoon, and students walked past the wall that now had a plaque in her name, Lena looked up at the sky, smiled, and whispered, thank you, Grandpa. I remember now.